Hello, and welcome back to another Contemplative Living. Sorry, I'm a little congested this morning, but we'll try to get through this, all right? So, today, our theme is merry and bright. And, you know, it's interesting. When I hear that word or hear that phrase, merry and bright, I think of the old traditional classic story of the Christmas Carol, where you have Scrooge and the Crockett's and that whole story and because when you think about it, sometimes in life we may forget that happiness was our original goal. That was Scrooge, in his early life, he wanted to be happy. I felt the same way when I was a youth. My whole goal in life was I want to be happy. I figured life isn't worth living if you're not happy. But we have to learn to lean into the rawness of life's experiences sometimes and still find that little bit that's merry and bright. So let's get to it.
Welcome. Now creating a life of peace. This is Contemplative Living with David Bennett. Contemplations and reflections to help with spiritual living. This podcast is made possible by dharmatalks.com.
Okay, well, the struggle for spiritual seekers lies in that infantile yearning for only the good stuff. We yearn for the good stuff and not being able to hang out with the bleakness. And, if you think back to the Christmas Carol, you think of the Cratchits. Think of Mrs. Cratchit. She's got very little to work with. She has a disabled son, but yet she has this merry and this bright attitude. She's able to, through the suffering, through the bleakness, that's bleakness. What she was living with was bleakness. And to be able to lean into that and still maintain that positive attitude, that's what we want to do. That's what we want to achieve because, not everything in life is rosy and is bright all the time. In fact, I know a couple people that are very, very, when you first meet them, you think, oh my goodness, those are the most positive people in the world. How do they stay so cheery? But then when you really get to know them, you see that they have these immense swings of being overly joyous and then incredibly depressed. And so, we don't want to live like that with these huge swings. We want to maintain that kind of that even keel in life. We don't want the huge swings. An even keel helps us to maintain that positive attitude, that positive outlook. So, how do we do that? Remaining true to one's deepest values is the most important consideration. We do live in a world filled with distractions, and the trends are constantly changing. It's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We're being pulled this way and that way. So it requires strength. It requires conviction to stay loyal to our core beliefs. And by doing so, it brings an unmatched sense of fulfillment and purpose. Our values serve as our guiding light. They guide us through the ups and downs. And they differentiate us from others. And reflecting our unique perspectives and priorities is where we want to be. We want to reflect those perspectives that are our core values. And whenever they revolve around, we want them to revolve around our honesty, our kindness, our authenticity, because these are the principles that shape who we are to our very core. And that's important. It's important that we stay in that space. So finding merry and bright lies not in conforming or compromising, but rather in honoring what makes us unique and staying true to ourselves. And staying true to ourselves through all the twists and turns that life throws at us in our journey. I mean, after all, authenticity is contagious. People may not understand that they're feeling your authenticity, but they'll feel it and they'll honor it because they recognize that you're being true. So, when others witness your unyielding commitment to your values, they might find themselves more motivated. They might find themselves, willing to move forward on their quest for self-discovery. So, how might we be happy, merry, and bright for no reason? We can begin by relaxing our unwinnable fight against actuality. So how can we transcend the ordinary? How can we find joy amidst chaos? Those are some tough questions. And the answer lies within ourselves, in our ability to let go of the constant struggle against reality. We're always fighting reality. We're always fighting instead of accepting, okay, this is the way it is, and I can move forward and I can make changes where I'm able. That's a very stoic philosophy. And we live in a world that often demands us to constantly strive for more. And we're told that we need to pursue success and achievements and, material goods. And that's what holds the key to happiness. But that's not true. What if true contentment, that's, could be found by simply embracing the present moment? The present moment. Generosity frees us. It frees us to see that we're not just a drop or a wave, but that we are the ocean, that we're all connected. By giving generously of ourselves, that's where, that was the redeeming. After Scrooge went through his trials and tribulations with all the ghosts of future, present, and past, or past, present, and future, when he went through all that, he recognized and he saw how the generosity of other people brought them together. It was a glue that helped them, helping out your fellow man is an ideal. It's an amazing ideal that brings us all together. So when we feel true generosity, that we want to help our fellow man, but it has to come from within, that we're free to see. It opens up our awareness and helps us to see clearly. And when we clearly experience the reality of the present, we discover that it's rich. It's rich with a richness that's the nature of existence itself. So we're seeking that clarity. Even though we may be experiencing bleakness, we still want to seek that clarity. And when we look out on the horizon and we see that there's beauty all around us, there always is. And when we feel empathy for our fellow man, and we begin that root of generosity, That's the richness. That's where we feel like we're part of this expansive energy that is humanity. And we become a part of nature itself. So we're on this big bus with all our fellow beings. And let's be dedicated to the spirit of selflessness. Imagine for a moment that life is like being on a never-ending road trip, aboard an enormous bus. And the passengers, the people are all unique and diverse in their backgrounds and their stories, yet united by sharing the journey that they find themselves on, the journey of life. And as we navigate through the ups and downs of existence, it becomes crucial to remember the importance of selflessness. That's what Scrooge found at the end of his journey, the importance of selflessness. And just as travelers rely on each other's kindness and support when faced with unexpected, detours, the bus breaks down along the way, we have to work together, and our daily interactions have ripple effects that reach far beyond what normally meets the eye. So choosing selflessness isn't always easy, though. It's not an easy road. It requires unwavering dedication to putting others before ourselves. It means embracing empathy and compassion. Those can be incredibly powerful ideals. So, excuse me, sorry. The congestion got better of me. Try not to cough into the microphone. All right. So, where are we? When life is experienced as merry and bright, it's only natural to want to share. The feeling of pure joy that radiates through our hearts can't be contained. It must be celebrated. It must be passed on. We've all had those moments when the world seems to burst with colors. Laughter fills the air, and worry just seems to evaporate like mist under a warm sun. We've all had a moment to experience that. Imagine strolling down a really busy street, and there's twinkling lights, and every step seems contagious with, holiday melodies, and you find yourself smiling at strangers and sharing lighthearted jokes and knowing glances. It's in these moments that connections are formed effortless. And it's as if an invisible thread, links us all together through happiness. Spreading merriment beyond our immediate circle with kind acts, sometimes even tiny gestures, can have far-reaching impacts. That ripple effect has an immense power. It's real. So, embrace life in its entirety. Celebrate both its magical stories and everyday wonders. Show others your unique brand of merry and brightness as you go along your way. The story of the Christmas Carol is an amazing, amazing teaching story. It shows how, how our past can influence our present and even be projected into our future. It shows us how gratitude is interconnected with everything. It shows us how we are interconnected and that we can maintain a happy, bright, and merry life, even in the bleakness. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. and a wonderful week ahead. Namaste.
Thank you for listening today to Contemplative Living with David Bennett. Please be sure to subscribe, listen, and share with your friends wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and the Podbean app. You can find the links to these on David's website, dharmatalks.com, on the Contemplative Living page. Have a blessed week.